U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit and the U.S. Supreme Court. Patti and her husband of nearly 34 years, Frank, who's also with us tonight, live in Fairfax with their many cats and are blessed to enjoy their many godchildren, official and otherwise. Please help me in welcoming Patti Lyman to the stage.
Thank you so very much for that welcome. I am so happy to be here too, John. Hey, where's Alonzo? Hey. Thank you so much for that welcome. I must tell you, it felt wonderful on June the 1st to be reelected to another 4-year term as your National Committeewoman, because you know what? Things are getting better and better all the time at the RNC, and I want us to be right in the middle of it, leading the way, like we have been for the last 4 years. So I thank all of you. You know, I meet all kinds of people at the RNC, and I meet people from, states all over the country, and they love their states, and they represent them very well, but the fact is, none of them are Virginia, and all of you here know exactly what I am talking about. What happens in Virginia affects the rest of the country. It has for about 400 years, and it always will. There is no other Commonwealth like Virginia. When I ran in 2020, I heard even our state party leaders running around calling us a blue state. Well, at the same time they were doing that, half of y'all, with 30,000 other people, were in Richmond fighting for your gun rights. You know where that doesn't happen? In a blue state. So I knew we were onto something. My campaign slogan was, "The real Virginia is red." I believe that most people in Virginia believe pretty much like we do. Pretty much. They're concerned about the same things. They have the same struggles with raising their families. Our challenge is and our policies work for everyone, no matter who you are. President Trump showed that to us for 4 years, when every strata of society did better during his presidency. What we need to do is convey our message in such a way that we just get people to vote the way they already believe. And we need to do that as we go forward. I'm a President Trump super fan. I always have been. And back in 2020, when I heard people complaining about President Trump and they didn't like this or they didn't like that, it absolutely frosted me, because I had seen the success that we had been through during those prior 3 years. And one day I was giving a speech, and I was just riled up. I didn't even plan to say this, but I said, any Republican who cannot or will not defend President Trump's magnificent record in office, the problem is with that Republican, not President Trump. And we got to get behind him 10,000%, y'all. You know, back when certain people were calling us a blue state, I said it was time for Virginia to take our rightful place in the Republican Party as the key critical swing state that we are, and get the money we deserve, the resources we deserve, get the help from other states that we deserve, because what happens here affects the rest of the country. Well, I would say that since Virginia has now been designated by the president, the real president, has been designated by the president as officially a battleground state, the campaign is opening 11 offices here. President Trump, yes. President Trump believes Virginia is ready to go red. I believe it as well. I feel it. And he is making a commitment there, and he's going to be here with us this coming Friday down in Chesapeake. I would say Virginia has taken our rightful place in the party, and that's good, but the pressure is on, y'all. The pressure is on. This is what we need to do. You know, as pathetic at times as we can be as a party, and we can talk about that, you look at the suffering that our country has been through in recent years, whether it was during COVID, and then you know, the current president came in, and the suffering, people suffering way worse than any of us in this room because of Democrat policies. Do you know that as imperfect as we are, the Republican Party is the only thing standing in between our friends and neighbors and the Democrats who have proven for decades that they are hell-bent on destroying the lives of regular working people. They've proven it over and over. We're the only ones standing between, again, innocent people just trying to make it and these Democrats ruining their lives. We're the thin red line. We are. Not some party up there, not the Republican National Committee, not the governor, not whatever. We are. The people in this room, you are the muscle of the Republican Party right here. This is where it happens. People are depending on us that don't even know they're depending on us. Democrats who are suffering are depending on us. We're the only ones that have solutions. So we have an obligation that goes so much deeper, y'all, than winning, than putting up a W on the board, than having bragging rights. This is so much bigger than that. This is an obligation to our fellow man, heart to heart. People need us. America needs the Republican Party in a way we never have before, and we're it right here. I want to, go ahead, thank you. And I want to mention one last thing. President Trump is putting significant resources, time, and effort into Virginia. He believes that he can win Virginia. I believe he can win Virginia. But ironically enough, there is, back in 2021, when we had that miraculous sweep of office, do you know that at the beginning of October, Governor Youngkin only had about 90% support among Republicans in Virginia? That's not enough to win. But an effort was undertaken, a lot of people involved in it, I was one of them, but certainly not the main one. And we just said, look, our state will never ever come back and recover from 4 more years of Terry McAuliffe. We can't survive that. We have to win. There's no alternative. We don't care what the candidate promises, whether he agrees with us, whether he promises to do this policy or that policy, whether he uses the magic words, whether he flatters us. It didn't matter anymore because we knew that we had to take our candidates over the finish line, no matter what. Well, what happened was in certain districts in this state, there was a level of turnout. It wasn't just unprecedented. It wasn't just historic. It wasn't just never dreamed of. I will always believe it was a supernatural, God-ordained, miraculous level of turnout in several districts in this state. It was. That gave us victory. Well, I would say the one district where it is most imperative that we have another level of supernatural turnout for President Trump, for him to have any chance of winning, is, wait for it, the 5th District of Virginia. We must have a massive, miraculous level of turnout in the 5th District of Virginia. We must have that, or we're not going to have a country anymore, because I doubt we'll win Virginia, and if we can't win Virginia, we're going to have problems other places too. So we have to have massive turnout in the 5th District. What I would ask as a fellow patriot, as a statewide party official, I would ask that all of us do everything possible to make sure that every voter in the 5th District ends this race with confidence that it was run properly, that it was run fairly, and that they came to a just and accurate result. The best way to get that kind of turnout in November is for people to have confidence about the way our recent race was run in the 5th District. To do that, we are probably going to need to take every single measure possible to the furthest extent of state law to do recounts, to do this, to do that, whatever the law requires. That is going to need to be done, not for the benefit of any candidate, but for the benefit of the district to have confidence in the result, to go forward in confidence. That must be our goal. I beg everyone in the district, regardless of how they voted, I beg everyone, please, for a while, can we refrain from any of the trash talking, gloating, teasing, mocking, whatever it is, okay? Whatever it is we do, when our football team wins or loses, okay? This is not a joke. This is not a football game. This is serious as a heart attack. I think the fate of the country depends on how well the 5th District gets through this period. I beg of all of you, let's wait for the process to play out, and then let us do what my friend Pete Snyder always says. We have to keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing